In this lesson, we'll be fine-tuning the camera animation. Okay, so if I scrub through this, you can see I changed up the colors a little bit. I just felt that the yellow wasn't really coming through very well here on that line graph at the bottom. And I just kind of switched these to be red. I've also added the rest of the display tags that we needed, and you can see how much better that looks in a line with all those dates. Really, really nice. So now what we need to focus on is getting this very last part of our camera animation to not have this little wobble in it. And it's a little bit more obvious to see when it's playing back in real time. So you can see that it goes in and then goes back out at the very end, and you can even tell a little bit more if you look at this handle right here. This arrow really starts to feel like something a little strange happens there. So the way that we can know really what's happening is by going into our camera and camera rigs F-curves. So by selecting camera rig F-curves, let's right click and show F-curves, and sure enough I can already see the problem. So you can see how this little line right here goes above at this point in the graph the final place that it ends, and that is the problem. So if I pull this down, you can see that it sort of starts to help as far as it never goes above this point, but it really doesn't totally fix my problem for me. So what I'm going to try is actually pulling this in so that it is no longer going to really have that pulled out and have any kind of interpolation that would cause it to be higher or lower than that final point. And you can always see that final point by looking at that red dotted line. So if I just hit Control Z, you can see where it was coming from before. Now another way I could fix this is by moving this point right here. Now at this particular point in time, I actually have my P rotation and my H rotation overlapping. So I'll just pull this one over for a moment so that I can see this point underneath. And all I'm going to do is just pull it down a little bit and then adjust those handles slightly. And now what we get is just a little bit of a better curve in that line. Then we can just put that right back where it was before. And now let's play it and see if that fixed it. It may have only been a rotation problem, may not have had any kind of position problem at all. And sure enough, that looks like it never goes back in the other direction. It's just nice and smooth. Very good. So we smoothed out our camera by just looking at those F-curves and figuring out, what's the problem and what are some different ways that we can move those points around in our F-curve to fix the issue. And we were able to do that. So overall, I feel like this is pretty much it for the line graph. I think this is a really nice animation. It really feels 3D, and we get a very pretty looking graph animating through here. So let's move on to our next set of graphs, which is going to be the pie graph. So we have a little bit of a different approach we're going to be taking with that, and we'll be starting it in the next lesson.